First of all, I want to thank Dr. White and the Atlanta chapter of the NAACP for inviting me this evening. I think this is a very important meeting, and we do have a lot to get resolved. I've been involved in law enforcement for over 30 years, and my police career started in Washington, D.C., working in minority communities. And then I left Washington to be the chief in New Orleans, another minority city, and then ended up in Atlanta. So I'm not going to talk long, I only have 2 minutes, but I want to say, first of all, that I've been dealing with police problems for many, many years in the minority community. Drug abuse, excessive force, excessive abuse, and etc. And I want you to look at my record. That's all I ask you to do. Look at my record. How I've dealt with corrupt police officers, how I've dealt with police officers that have used excessive force against citizens, and in addition to that, how I've dealt with bringing communities together and embracing community policing. Now, I'll assure you, when this matter came to my attention, one of the first things that I wanted to do was meet with the federal authorities, and I did that, and I turned it over to the FBI. I called Greg Jones, the special agent in charge of the Atlanta field office, and asked them would they look into this matter. And I didn't have to do that. And the reason I did it was so the community wouldn't feel as though there would be no impropriety in the investigation. The investigation would be done independent of the Atlanta Police Department. I also contacted the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and asked them would they process the crime scene so the Atlanta Police Department would not be a part of the crime scene as well. And they agreed to do that. And so I assure you that we're going to cooperate, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we get to the bottom of this tragic incident. And I feel everyone's pain, just like, the community. It's very tragic for us. We have officers that were hurt. We have officers right now that when they leave the police station, they don't know whether or not the community will embrace them now because of what this has done to the department. And so we need to do a lot of healing. And that's why I'm here. I want to make sure that we get to the bottom of it. And I know that it will be done. And once the investigation has been completed, I think we will have a better understanding of what transpired and what went on. I cannot answer any specific questions about the investigation because I've turned it over to the federal authorities. But I assure you that we will continue to do the great job that we do in our communities. We embrace community policing. We will work to rid our communities of drugs in our community. That's so pervasive. And as the speaker just indicated, we have to reduce the demand of drugs in our community. That is the biggest problem. That is the biggest problem. We police these areas, these communities, and there's a lot of drug abuse, a lot of drug sales, and a lot of things that go on. And so I just want to tell you that I'm here because I want to make sure that we continue to do a great job. And if we have bad officers, and I'm not saying we do, but if we do have bad officers, I encourage the community to come forward so we can do everything we can to get rid of those type of officers that we do not want policing our neighborhoods. But let me say, by and large, the majority of our officers work hard. They do a great job each and every day making this community safe.
Right.
4 years ago, Atlanta was ranked number 2, the most violent city in the United States, number 2. And in 4 years, we've dropped down to number 17. No, that's still not a great number, 17. But we're going to keep working to push that number down because I think it is important for us to be out of the top 20. And when you look at what causes cities to make that most violent list, it's always attributable to drugs. Always attributable to drugs. Poverty. And so when you look at those type of problems that we confronted here in Atlanta, I just encourage each and every one of you to continue to work hard